Okay, Jannik Sinner is out. Daniil Medvedev, with a massive win at Wimbledon, takes out Jannik Sinner in 5 sets. Sinner, not maybe at his best, but Jannik Sinner at his biggest, boldest, bravest tennis to buck the trend. He lost 5 matches in a row coming into this matchup against Jannik Sinner, and a lot of people had written him off. A lot of people had said he's got to go crazy. Sinner's got to have a bad match in order to buck this trend. But Daniil Medvedev went and took this from Jannik Sinner. He played a great match. We're going to get into what he did, how he was able to find a place of safety in that Sinner big ground stroke game from the baseline and get Sinner off of his game. We're going to break that down. We're also going to talk about how Alcaraz took out Tommy Paul. This is The Slice presented by Betway. Let's get into it. Big things happening. Wow. At Wimbledon. I mean, what a day of tennis. What a day of tennis. We had Sinner versus Medvedev, the two big baseliners hitting huge through the court. And then we had Carlos and Tommy Paul, two amazingly shorter, more athletic, all-court players chopping it up, playing awesome tennis. So that was just an amazing day of tennis on the men's side of the draw. But the big news, really, I think most people had Carlos going through Tommy Paul, although smart people would have thought that was a big challenge, and it was. But I think Carlos raised his game today. But I think even more people were confident maybe that Sinner was going to go through Medvedev, but it wasn't to be because the big Russian said, put some respect on my name. And I said before, in the first set of the match, I tweeted out, I said, tennis fans have a crazy recency bias. So it may seem like Medvedev has little chance versus Sinner, but Medvedev has been number 1 and won a major in the last 3 years and been to 5 major finals for a reason. Nothing is a given. And Medvedev ends up pulling out the win over Jannik Sinner. So we're going to get into how he did it. If you're new here, welcome to The Slice. Thanks for being here. Smash the subscribe button to join along and watch the whole video to see the thoughts that I have on kind of where everyone goes from this. Tommy Paul, Jannik Sinner. It's going to be interesting because this is the second major in a row that Sinner has lost and not really been at his physical best. You know, he had issues today going off the court for the medical timeout. Hear me. That is not why he lost the match today. He easily could have won the match if Medvedev didn't play brilliantly, which he did. Medvedev played, we thought, you know, he's been changing his game, and we saw it in Miami, and we saw it at the Australian Open when he kind of had to at the Australian Open play super aggressive. And he played just the perfect level of aggressiveness today that didn't take him over the edge, that didn't have him give up too much. And the interesting pattern that I saw was him playing deep down the middle, very hard, which is a common theme. You know, don't give angles and then let them pounce on it. But for Sinner, no one on tour, in my opinion, goes out to the backhand or to the forehand better and crushes shots that have angle to them. He can go up the line as good as anyone on tour, and he can crush it cross court, obviously. So Medvedev's strategy seemed to be serve big, return a little closer to the baseline. He was able to move around with his return position today and have success with it. He's done that before and it hasn't had success with it, but today it was paying off. But when he was going big down the middle, that shelters him from basically having Sinner take control of the rally and open up the angles. And then once Sinner would drop balls short because he wasn't as clean today or as clinical as maybe other days, Medvedev pounced on it and was brave by taking the shots and being aggressive and then coming forward behind them. Pretty crazy stats show Medvedev was at the net more than Sinner today. And that is it's just cool to see because I think everyone here, I think you guys all know, we all love Daniil Medvedev. There's like very, very few people don't like Daniil Medvedev. He's such a nice guy, so funny. And, you know, I want to see him have success out here. And he beat Alcaraz last year at the US Open. Then he had to play Djokovic in the final. Didn't have any steam left. You know, he should have won the 2022 Australian Open. You hate to see this guy lose. So when he puts it together and makes the tweaks to his game and it pays off like it did today against Sinner. As much as I feel for the Italians and the Sinner fans like myself who see Sinner lose and wanted to see Sinner versus Alcaraz, you got to tip your hat to Medvedev and say, you deserve this match. Because when it came to the fifth set, Sinner pulled it back in the fourth, played a great set, played more aggressive, took it to Medvedev. When Medvedev got up that early break in the fifth, he was able to run with it and play really good. And he served out the match. What was it? Medvedev hits 4 first serves in the final game, plus a winner on match point to serve out the win. Like, that's just cold. And then he does the no celebration, the zero celebration afterwards, which I thought was hilarious. But he just played the exact way he needed to, and that was super impressive to see, because it's hard to stick to that. I feel like it's easy to fall when you're changing your game style. It's easy to fall out of the pattern. No matter what you've practiced or talked to your coach, it's hard to stay in it. So let's look at the stats from this match, because they're pretty interesting on a set-by-set basis. Obviously, yeah. So Sinner wins the first set 7-6. Tight set, great level of tennis, goes Sinner's way in the tiebreaker, and Medvedev had chances. And I thought, that's just Sinner pulling out, being the number one. And then, so first set, let's go by the stats for the first sets there. So pretty even attacking, 22%, 21%, 6 aces for Yannick, 92 win percentage on his first serve. So he only lost 2 points on his first serve. And I thought, if that continues, it's trouble time for Medvedev, because that's not good. No break points either way. 14 winners each, and only 9 unforced errors for Sinner. So he takes the first set. And then we go to the second set, and you can see here with the AI shot tracker attacking percentage, Medvedev started being more aggressive than Sinner, 31%. That's when Sinner went for the break. After the first set, he went for that medical timeout, and it seemed to disrupt his rhythm. Medvedev came out like an animal and got the break in that set and held on to it and came and turned out, and won the set. More unforced errors from Sinner, 14 to only 6 from Medvedev. So Medvedev just played a clearly better set there and gets it. So 1-1. Sinner comes back, plays better. It's more equal. Sinner's actually the more attacking player in the third set. Has less efficiency on his first serve, barely. But again, another tight set. Net points won. Sinner came to the net more. So he's 10 for 14, 71%. Let's go back to set 2. And net points won. Daniil Medvedev came forward 8 times, and Sinner only came forward 3 times. You think Sinner's probably struggling a little bit physically there, and that is why. So back to the third set, goes to another tiebreaker. They each broke once, actually, and then got it to the tiebreaker, and it goes Daniil Medvedev's way. Another close one, another close set, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, Sinner's back up against the wall, but he comes back, plays a great fourth set, is the more attacking player, runs the board on the stats, won his only 2 times at net, won both break points he got. Medvedev didn't get a break point on the Sinner serve, and Sinner just plays a great set. So you're coming into the fifth set, and you're thinking, who's this going to? Who's more physical? Who's more brave in this moment? And, Daniil Medvedev gets the early break. Sinner never got a break point against Medvedev's serve, and that's where you just got to hand it to Medvedev. In the fourth set, or in the fifth set, he got more percentage of his first serves in. He won a higher percentage on those. He only lost 5 points on his first serve. And like I said earlier, 4 first serves in the final service game, and he puts it away. So that's like, there's chances there all throughout that fifth set for Medvedev to drop his level, feel the moment, and let Sinner come back. But that's why I said at the beginning of the match, these guys have won the same amount of majors. They've both been number 1 in the world. It's not like Medvedev doesn't have any confidence against Sinner or Alcaraz. He should have confidence. And I think if Sinner is playing another guy who doesn't have the level of experience and the repertoire of or the, what am I trying to say? The list of accomplishments that Medvedev has, he probably figures out a way to win that. But Medvedev has that, and he is him. and he figured out a way to do it. And he played gritty tennis, played from the baseline, played big, played aggressive, but not overly aggressive, didn't overdo it, and then came forward without hesitation. As we can see for the match, net points won. Medvedev was at the net 41 times compared to 28 for Sinner. And that's just great. That's just great. Attacking tennis from Medvedev changed his game. He got smoked by Alcaraz last year on the grass. Medvedev figures out a way to do it this year in super impressive fashion. So where does Sinner go from here? I don't know. Is he going to be the number one in the world after this tournament for much longer? I don't know. I don't think so. And physically, I think, it's probably true that he's still growing into his body. The concerning thing is you're like, what's wrong? He was sick today. The hip issue, him not feeling his best in the French Open loss or the Wimbledon loss, you're like, at the end of the day, tennis is just a battle of physicality in a big sense. You track the time on court over the tournament. Whoever has less time on court probably has an advantage. We saw that in the Australian Open. Sinner had the massive advantage. Medvedev didn't have any steam left, and he had to throw all that he could at Sinner in the first 2 sets, and he won 2 sets, and then he ran out of steam, and that allowed Sinner to come back. So it's a game of inches. Medvedev's a champion. Sinner's a champion, and it just wasn't Sinner's best day today, and Medvedev took advantage of that and played how he needed to get through. So that was fantastic from Medvedev, and he gets the win. That's big. That breaks up the matchup that a lot of people wanted to see of Alcaraz and Tommy Paul, because Alcaraz did take care of the Tommy Paul business today. Let's look at a match summary. I was not able to watch as much of this match, so we will see how it goes. First serve in. Neither guys dominated on their first serve. Alcaraz wins a higher percentage, 66. Tommy Paul only winning 57% of his first serve is just not the stat where he wants it to be there for sure. Tommy Paul at the net more, 41 times at net, winning 28% of those. Alcaraz only winning 59% at the net. Both these guys, like we said, super athletes. But look, Alcaraz got forced 27 break points. He was kind of all over Tommy Paul on the service department, on the return department. Gets 8 break points, twice the amount of Tommy. And Tommy had 21 winners for 51 unforced errors. So I think the Carlitos onslaught was a bit much there. Tommy Paul does get the first set, and he broke twice. Alcaraz broke once. But yeah, after that, it was kind of Alcaraz in control, in the driver's seat. But that's a great tournament from Tommy. That's a great result from Tommy Paul, who is a guy that's made big improvements on all surfaces, but on this grass. And if you're playing the defending Wimbledon champion and the guy who's probably the favorite going ahead from here, yeah, it's hard. Playing Carlos Alcaraz on the surface is hard. 4-set match, nothing to shake your head at there. 3 hours, 11 minutes. Maybe it wasn't Tommy Paul's best day. Maybe felt the moment a little bit, but I think all in all, the quarterfinals at Wimbledon is a great result for Tommy Paul and for his coach, Brad Stein, friend of the show. So where do we go from here? The draw, Medvedev versus Alcaraz in the semifinals. It's a rematch of the U.S. Open semifinals from last year. And how are you feeling? I feel if Alcaraz can play his best, he's better on this surface. It's not a hard court. It's not a quick hard court. It's a grass court. And I do think it still lends itself to players who play with creativity. But if Medvedev can execute like he did today against Sinner, play that all-court game, you never know. Alcaraz can go up and down sometimes. And Medvedev, again, unlike all the opponents that Alcaraz has had earlier in this tournament, Medvedev knows how to close it out, as he did today against Sinner. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, Sinner out, Medvedev, Alcaraz playing in the semifinal. And we got the quarterfinals tomorrow, where Djokovic will play De Minaur and Fritz will play Musetti. We've already previewed those matches. If you haven't seen them, go watch our other video. But yeah, that's my reaction. Not a full analysis. I wasn't able to watch either match in full enough depth to kind of give play-by-play. But that's my kind of overall feel of the match. Huge credit to Medvedev for the way he played. That takes serious cojones. and tough one for Sinner and his fans. Got to find a way to recover from that and be physically at your best in the biggest matches. That's what he's got to do. So that's my reaction. Leave yours down in the comments below. Thanks for being here. As always, I appreciate your support. We'll see you next time here on The Slice.